Every guitarist will play this gig, the block party gig, right? The gig where you play in front of your neighborhood, everyone hears you practicing, throughout the week, and they're like, great, now you finally get to play. And for some reason, I've eschewed our block party for the first 2 years because I was a little embarrassed. And the video I did 2 weeks ago where I said like, oh, I really wish I was in a band. And you guys called me out on it saying, well, why aren't you in a band? And I realized it was so obvious. I was like, wait a second, like they're right. I'm putting this like fake barrier in front of it. I'm putting like this, I'm like making it way too big of a mountain. And so I called out, I saw those comments. I couldn't even respond to them. So I called my buddy who's a bassist here, and he's like a very respected bassist session guy, played with really big artists. And I was like, maybe he'll say yes, who knows? The worst he could say is no. And so I give him a call. I said, hey, would you like to be in a trio? And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. I'm like, oh, great. That's great news. And he goes, and I got a great drummer that I think will work too. A guy I played with for years. And these guys are heavy, right? They're heavy musicians, well known in the industry and very respected. And I am shocked that they want to play with me. So not that like I don't think I'm bad, but it's like they have their pick of great artists and musicians to play with. So the fact that like the guy with like zero resume in Nashville, zero resume, they say yes, I'm thrilled about that. Again, I'm not trying to downplay myself, but if you guys have ever been here, you'll get it. There's so many good artists here. Like that's, and just guitarists. I mean, there's probably like 5,000 guitarists here that are like, that blow me out of the water. Like there's probably that many. That's how many there are. And they're all in this tiny little city. Anyway, so wintertime, I'm going to be playing, and it's all thanks to you guys for calling me out on my BS. And I appreciate that. That's what friends are for, isn't it? So let this be a lesson to you as well. If there's something that you're like not wanting to do, or not willing to do, but something you're thinking you've always wanted to do, and you have this like fake wall in front of it, just break through it, man. Go through the front door. Like the worst that could happen is they say no. Anyway, so the first entrance for me back into like live music was playing the block party this past weekend. I got over my fear because I was embarrassed. I was like, everyone in Nashville is very good. I'm not quite there yet. And one of the reasons I felt better is about playing live is because I've been taking voice lessons with this girl Eva, who's completely like transformed my voice. I could always, I knew the concept of singing, but I was not very good at singing. And now I feel like I'm getting competent, right? I'm able to carry a tune and people don't run away, go, oh. And I'll put her link below. She lives in Nashville, but I just do it online with her because I'm home with the kids, so it's just a lot easier to do that. So if you guys want to check her out down there, she went to Berkeley. She's got a great background. She studied vocal performance and songwriting, and she's just an outstanding singer. She's an artist too, and she writes great stuff. So maybe I can convince her to come on one of these videos one day with Goldie and Cosmo. Quick update there too on the videos. There's 3 more videos, and I'm going to take a break on Goldie and Cosmo stuff. I'm taking like the season finale. So there's this next one with MXR pedals that'll be out pretty soon. The one after that is Quilter, and that one is like an insane video. And then I'm going to have this season finale one after that, and I'm not sure what the product that one's going to be yet. It might not be any product because it's kind of interesting storyline. So I appreciate you guys hanging around, and for all the new viewers that are here, thanks for coming by. I'm going to be getting back into more like educational stuff. So obviously I'm going to do lessons on how I like to play, certain concepts that I like to employ. But also I think one of the biggest things is like how to record guitar, how to make your guitar sound good on recording when you're home, not in a big studio. Like most of us will not record in a big fancy studio. Most of us don't need to, but I think it's really important to be able to record yourself and listen to yourself and make it sound good so you can send it to people, send it to your friends, but mostly for yourself so you know that you can record yourself playing well. So what I played at the block party was this Boss Katana, the 100-watt artist version. And I bought it because I was going to review it, and I ended up not liking it. Initially when I bought it, I was like, okay, I'm just going to sell this thing. And I probably would have played the Quilter Cub UK out there because that thing is loud. But I needed to play an acoustic guitar too. I was doing some acoustic stuff, right? Block party, right? You're eating a pork barbecue sandwich. Like, what do you want to listen to? Like, do you want to listen to rock and roll, or probably something soothing and relaxing to aid digestion? So I brought out the Boss Katana because it's got an acoustic guitar setting, and it sounded great. I had no idea it sounded that good, and it was loud too. I mean, it's a 100-watt amp. I mean, solid state, 100 watts, but it's still really, really loud. And so it got all the way to the back. It wasn't mic'd. The vocals, everyone who performed, the vocals were mic'd. But the guitar was just a guitar, and the guitar was just the Katana, and it sounded great. So I'm just going to go through just some of the sounds that I was using, and just through some simple pedals in front. An overdrive from Origin Effects, their Halcyon Gold, some Flint reverb, Flint tremolo, and a SUPRO delay, and like that's pretty much all I used on it. And it sounded really good. And the other funny thing about playing in Nashville is that someone in the crowd is always really well respected in the industry. Like, there was a bunch of musical directors here from like big churches. So it's a little intimidating because, they're dealing with like high level people all the time. But I got some nice compliments. Again, it was a huge hurdle to get over, like my fear of performing. Even though I did that for decades, I was performing live, but it had been so long, and it had been so long since I even called myself a musician, until I moved to Nashville 3 years ago. So it was like a big hurdle in me saying, like, it's not just me talking to a phone or a computer or the internet. It's me performing live in front of people, and like, this is the song. So it felt good. All right, let's go over some of these tones. Right? Just sounds good, man. It handled it really well. It was crazy because when I first bought this amp, I was like, no. I just didn't like it. It really just didn't sound the way I wanted it to. So I don't know what happened out there, but I said, okay, this does sound good. It's really heavy, so it's not like, when you think solid state, you're like, oh, it's a lot easier to carry. This is pretty heavy amp. Really can handle what you throw at it. I mean, I'm shocked at how good it sounds. It takes pedals fantastically well. And like if I don't want to bring like a tube amp out, I'm like nervous about like the venue. Like, this is great. If I'm nervous about like the volume, because like my amps actually aren't that loud. Like my highest wattage amp is my HDRX 20, and that gets pretty loud. But that's like a head and a cab, and that's like kind of a pain in the butt to bring two things. Even though like those are lighter than this Katana, like it still might just be easier to do the Katana. And the other cool thing about the Katana is that you can plug in your like a preamp pedal, like an Origin Effects preamp pedal, into the power station or the power section in the back. So like you bypass the preamp completely, and you can have like just your preamp pedal into this, and it's got a great speaker in it. So it's cool. Again, like I was really surprised only because I really didn't like the Boss Katana when I was playing it, and I was considering selling it, but probably not now, especially if this band thing gets going in the wintertime. I'm thinking of calling it something like Stallion, because I always wanted to call a band Stallion. And I just feel like it's like a cool name, especially for like a trio. We're gonna be doing rock, and Motown stuff like that. So, and arranged for a trio. I think one of the key things about playing in a trio is that you have to make sure the arrangements work for your, like, what's your playing style and the rhythm section's playing style. And like, does that fit your voice? And like, can you get a groove? Because a trio has like an energy. I mean, every band has an energy, but a trio is very specific. It's like a BLT, right? And a BLT, you gotta have those proportions right because it fits like right into this little circle. And so there's usually trios have to, you have to kind of cheat with arrangements a lot of the time, depending on the skill of the guitarist and the bassist and the drummer. Like, you gotta figure out what works there. So we'll see. We'll get through these arrangements. It's funny, since it's Nashville, you gotta have like 3 hours, 4 hours of music ready to go. And for guitar, that's not too hard, but for singing and memorizing lyrics, that is pretty tricky. So I'm gonna have to start studying now. I mean, I'll have an iPad on stage like everyone does, unless it's a really pro gig. So, but I'm excited. But again, thanks for you guys holding me accountable. I appreciate that. Hope you liked last week's lesson. This week, we're going to work on using a looper pedal. I think it's really important to know how to use a looper pedal to practice, but also like to build arrangements for songwriting. It's a really, really great little tool, and there's so many cheap ones available now. So we'll go over that. I'll use like my 20-year-old looping pedal that still works. But it's really just a fun kind of thing to use. Okay, great. Now I got it. So I'll record it later this week and it'll come out at the end of the week. I'll see you guys on the internet.